So very good evening to everybody. I hope that you all have joined. सभी participants maximum ने join कर लिया है. And let us start the session for today. That is going to be the opening, the starting of the course. That is memory techniques in quantum speed reading, right? So I'm really, thrilled to start your journey from today. And today's session is going to be the overview session in which we'll see what adventure we are going to have ahead, what are the things that we are going to do, everything we'll be, just getting the overview of that today, right? Okay. So before we dive into the, course and core of the day, allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Jasmine, and I am absolutely, passionate about the individuals like you who are, passionate about full learning. So I am from IIM, Indian Institute of Management, and I hold a lot of experience teaching almost 10,000 plus students. Till date, I have coached them, and, my work is not just theoretical, it's all result oriented. So whatever we will discuss, whatever things we will discuss throughout the session, that is going to be productive for all of you. And our focus in the next 60 minutes of our session, that is going to be related to quantum speed reading and memory techniques, in which I'll be guiding you with the journey that we are still going to cover in the coming sessions. Okay. So let's start. Now, first of all, I just want to give you an overview of what are the segments that we are going to cover in this course. इस curriculum में कौन-कौन से segments को we are going to cover? Let us first discuss them one by one. Now, first we'll delve into the revolutionary concept. Why do I call it revolutionary concept? This, you will come to know as we proceed. So first of all, what we are going to discuss, what we will be covering, that is basically the quantum speed reading. This is going to be our segment number 1 of this course. This course का ये segment number 1 रहेगा, which is quantum speed reading. And this is not only about reading faster. ये सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि आपको fast read कैसे करना है. This is basically the way to change जैसे हमारा brain process करता है information को, right? So we'll be working together on how our brain processes information. अभी कैसा होता है, या फिर the students that you are going to teach after this course. So abhi, what is the current thing which is happening with them and how we are going to change it, right? Next, we'll move into fast note taking. That is going to be our segment number 2. This is our second segment of the course, which is fast note taking. Now, why do we should learn these techniques? हमें ये चीज क्यों सीखनी है? हम सीधा मेमोरी पे why can't I switch? First of all, जब भी मुझे किसी चीज के ऊपर if I want to apply any memory technique, what is my first step? I need to read it. Second, I need to extract important information out of that. So which is my second segment, that is the fast note taking. Now, it is not always enough, to just transcribe the information. We need strategies that how I can transcribe, how I can extract important information from whatever text I am having. So there we need our segment number 2, which is the fast note taking. Segment number 3, all of you might be eager ke ye kya segment hoga, which is our memory techniques. This is going to be our third segment in this course. These are not just basically the theoretical techniques, but these are going to be powerful result-oriented memory techniques that are basically enhancing the brain's ability. Brain की ability को ये techniques क्या करती है? Enhance करती है, so that it can effectively store the information. Information storage is effective as well as retrieval is also effective. So these are basically the 3 segments. Now, before moving ahead, I just want all of you to just revisit a question. I want you to revisit a question because it is really the heart of why I am, with you today. So I ask one question to all of you. How many times you have felt this situation, या फिर अभी आपने experience किया हो during your studies, या फिर practically कभी भी experience किया हो, that you remember absolutely nothing. You have read something, you have prepared something so many times, लेकिन हमें क्या होता है, end में जाके कुछ भी याद नहीं रहता. स्टडीज को हमने आवर्स डेडिकेट किए होते हैं, बट व्हाट हैपेंस द नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग वी फॉरगेट. आई होप ये सबने एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा समहाउ, राइट? इट्स अ वेरी प्रैक्टिकल थिंग. और जिन स्टूडेंट्स को आप आगे जाके पढ़ाओगे, इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ देयर लाइफ ऑल्सो. सो देयरफॉर अब ये जो sheer effort है, the valuable time as well as the dedication that you have put in for the learning process. So this is quite disheartening when this situation arises that you have read something multiple times, I would say. Something you have read multiple times, you have devoted hours to it, but still हम क्या करते हैं उस चीज को अगले दिन we are unable to remember it, we forget that thing. Now, but here I am just going to tell you ऐसा. First thing we need to understand, this is not somebody's intelligence. This has to do nothing with the intelligence of the student, intelligence of the person. This is basically जो चीज उसमें lagging है, that is the strategy, the correct way to study. We as human beings, we have incredibly, I would say, we have powerful brain. हमारा जो brain है, that is incredibly powerful. हम process कर सकते हैं information को, but only कब कर सकते हैं, if the approach is right. Now, ये जो gap है, where our brains or where the student's brain is today and where it must be, this course is the bridge towards that. ये उसका bridge होगा. Now, if let's suppose I talk about segment number 1, that is the brain is not a book reader. Our brain is actually not a book reader. ये जो सबसे बड़ी चीज है कि yes, when it comes to reading, कि हमारा brain तो already it is in the state of reading something, but it is not so. What is the actual reality? Now, what happens is, अगर मैं अपने brain की बात करूं, so there is a visual cortex. This is a part of brain. ये हमारे brain का part है जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं, visual cortex. Visual cortex is the part of the brain that can absorb the images. कितनी speed से? Let us suppose एक तरफ मेरे पास text है, दूसरी तरफ मेरे पास क्या है, images है. अब जो टेक्स्ट की स्पीड है उससे जो इमेजेस को स्टोर करने की हमारे ब्रेन की स्पीड है, दैट इज 60,000 टाइम्स मोर. It is 60,000 times the speed of the text. Now, this is a staggering difference. ये बड़ा ही बहुत ज़्यादा, it's a huge difference. Now, when you glance at a photograph, हम किसी भी फोटोग्राफ को जब भी देखते हैं, हम instantly उसको अपने mind में save कर लेते हैं. You look at the photograph, close your eyes. What happens? That photograph will be in your mind. The emotion, the context, everything will be in your mind. आप चाहे इस फोटो को देखो, you look at this or you look at this, that will be quickly saved in your mind. But होता क्या है, we are not reading the photograph. हम जो फोटोग्राफ है उसको क्या है, रीड नहीं कर रहे हैं. Our brain is capturing the picture of that. So this is because when you look at the full page, जब आप पूरा पेज देखते हो without losing the focus, उसके ऊपर फोकस लूज नहीं करते हो, यू गो फ्रॉम वर्ड टू वर्ड, तो हमारी जो पेरिफेरल विजन होती है, दैट बेसिकली टेक्स द इंफॉर्मेशन इन ब्लॉक्स. दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट व्हेन इट कम्स टू रीडिंग. जब भी हम रीडिंग की बात करते हैं, उसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट जो एक रोल आता है, आई एम अंडरलाइनिंग ऑल्सो, दिस इज द रोल ऑफ द पेरिफेरल विजन. नाउ, पेरिफेरल विजन का क्या रोल होता है, जो भी मेरे सामने टेक्स्ट है, whatever text is in front of you, उस पे words है. There is a page of the book, मान लेते हैं book का कोई page है, उस पे there are written certain words. So my peripheral vision will take in the information in blocks. तो peripheral in जो vision है, it always takes the information in blocks. Now your eyes are never designed, हमारी सबकी जो eyes है, they are not designed just to move in a straight line. जब भी कोई हम रीड करने की कोशिश करते हैं, वी ट्राई टू रीड सम टेक्स्ट, वी ट्राई टू रीड सम आर्टिकल, एनीथिंग, व्हाट इज आवर टेंडेंसी? आवर टेंडेंसी इज कि हम उसको सीधा सीधा रीड करते हैं, वी रीड लाइन टू लाइन, बट और उसी से हमारे ब्रेन में, हमारे माइंड में ये चीज बन चुकी है दैट आईज ऑलवेज स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द सेंटेंस, देन गोइंग अहेड टू द फुल स्टॉप, फिर अगला सेंटेंस, फिर अगला सेंटेंस, राइट? But what is the actual reality? Our eyes are not designed just to move in a straight line, word to word. हमारी एक natural tendency होती है human beings की, of our eyes to jump with the chunks of information, जिसको हम reading नहीं कहते. This we will study further also. And उससे भी ज्यादा एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज क्या है, एट द सेम टाइम हमारे ब्रेन में वेन एवर वी ट्राई टू रीड समथिंग, एक वेव्स एक्टिवेट होती हैं जिन्हें हम कहते हैं थीटा वेव्स। हमारा नेक्स्ट सेशन इसी के ऊपर होने वाला है, विच वी कॉल एज थीटा वेव्स। whenever we try to read something in an appropriate setup, what is that appropriate setup, we'll study in the next session। हमारे ब्रेन में थीटा वेव्स जो होती है, ये कौन सी वेव्स होती है, ये हमेशा तब ही क्रिएट होती है whenever we are doing something creative। I'll write if you want। whenever we are doing something creative, हम कुछ भी creative करना चाहते हैं, we meditate, meditation is the best state। जब भी you meditate, then what happens, theta waves are activated in our brain। और जब भी हम कोई भी subconscious processing करते हैं, we want to absorb some information, short term memory से we want to transfer it to long term memory, then also this theta waves are activated। So when our brain is relaxed, जब भी हमारा brain relaxed होता है, that is always in the open state। Whenever there is relaxation in our brain, what happens is हमारा brain क्या होता है, it has the incredible receptivity। What is receptivity? Means my brain is receptive to absorb vast amount of information। बहुत ज़्यादा information अगर मुझे store करनी है, I can do that। So therefore, this segment number 1 is all about enhancing the reading capabilities। Now the power of synergy, leveraging the visual, जिसको हम अभी क्या कहते हैं, that is called the quantum speed reading। This is means reading the whole text in the brain। What is quantum speed reading? पूरे text को we are reading in the brain, not just our eyes and lips। This is the first step, or this is the start of our quantum speed reading, which is going to be our first module also, quantum speed reading। सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, जब हम किसी इंफॉर्मेशन को, जब भी यू वांट टू ट्रेन समबडी के उसको अपनी रीडिंग को बेटर करना है, यू वांट टू टीच द स्टूडेंट्स के रीडिंग को स्किल्स को बेटर करना है, इट इज अबाउट सीइंग द इंफॉर्मेशन। द फर्स्ट स्टेप इज ओनली सीइंग द इंफॉर्मेशन। जो हम यूजुअली करते हैं या स्टूडेंट्स भी करते हैं, दे स्टार्ट रीडिंग। दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट स्टेप, दिस इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप। The first step towards quantum speed reading is seeing the information, not reading the information। This is going to be a very, very significant approach for learning also, as well as for teaching the kids also। So now the question arises, how does this link to memory? अब इसका memory के साथ कैसे link होता है? When we talk about memory, we are often oversimplifying it। हमें लगता है कि this is something a bucket है हमारे पास, techniques है हमारे पास, but there are certain crucial stages, which is basically, ये हमारी 3 crucial stages होती हैं whenever it comes to memory। Now what are they? First stage is called the instant recall। Instant recall is called the short term access। These are going to be important during the learning process, these are going to be important। So first stage of our memory, this is basically called the instant recall। Now what is the meaning of instant recall, which we call as short term access? It is about being able to pull the information that you are trying to extract, the information you are trying to get the information immediately। जैसे ही कोई भी information आपके सामने आई, कोई भी टेक्स्ट आपके सामने आया, यू स्टार्ट टू whenever जो भी चीज लर्न करनी है, बी इट academics, बी इट a magazine, बी इट anything, information जैसे ही it came in front of you, you are able to pull, you are able to extract the main thing from that, whatever comes in front of you, that is basically called the instant recall। उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? We call it instant recall। Now the second important thing, that is basically which we call as deep storage। Deep storage is called the long term organization। जब भी किसी चीज को मुझे, whenever the information moves into long term organization, this is the part। सबसे पहले short term access पे कोई भी information है, that goes there। afterwards second step में it moves to the deep storage। deep storage क्या है मेरा? This is the long term organization of the information। और इसमें होता क्या है? It is about encoding it, the exact encoding and decoding of the information। encoding as well as आप decoding भी बोल सकते हो। ये किसमें होता है? This actually happens in the deep storage। Now this is about ये एक वे है, in the deep storage part, जहां पे we make what we have learned sticky, हम उसको sticky बनाते हैं, we make it durable also, we make it accessible also. So that is why we term it as deep storage, जिसको कि हम long term organization भी बोलते हैं. Final stage आती है हमारी fast retrieval, जिसको हम कहते हैं trigger based memory. Now, finally, often overlooked, इसको always maximum learners overlook करते हैं, but this is going to be very critical. Why? Because this is the trigger-based memory. It is about, you know, having strong, reliable cues. Strong, reliable cues किस चीज के होते हैं? जो आपको allow करते हैं locate करना. Now, if I ask anybody of you, what is 2 plus 2? Everybody can tell. What is 2 plus 2? What is 2 plus 2? Anybody? Yes, Mamta. You can please unmute.
That's 4, ma'am.
That's 4.
Obviously.
What is the square of 6?
36.
What is the square root of 100?
10.
10. So how you are able to do this? This is the role of fast retrieval. जो हमारा third important part है, the third main area which we call as fast retrieval. Whenever you are conversating, आप किसी चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हो, from where ideas come? Ideas कहाँ से आते हैं? From the fast retrieval. Whenever somebody asks you, okay, I got something from that place, वहां से मैंने ये चीज खरीदी, so I got it for 5,000. आपने भी वहां से कोई चीज ली होती है, तो you simply say, oh, you got it for 5,000, मुझे तो 4,000 की मिली थी. How that flash of buying something lesser to the other person comes, that is again from fast retrieval. So fast retrieval, which we call as the trigger based memory, उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Trigger based memory कहते हैं, जिसमें कि during a conversation, during an exam, during R&D, during brainstorming session. So which part is used? This is basically the fast retrieval part. So therefore the real memory training, जो real memory की training होती है, this is, you know, far more simple than rote memorization, या जिसको हम rote learning भी कहते हैं, उससे this is going to be very different. Now what is the real memory? Real memory क्या है? This is understanding how your brain organizes the input. How your brain or any brain of human being, this is going to be the real memory training techniques. इसमें सबसे पहली अप्रोच क्या है? हाउ योर ब्रेन ऑर्गेनाइजेस द इनपुट. इट इज पुटिंग द इंफॉर्मेशन, यू नो, इन इटसेल्फ. तो वो इंफॉर्मेशन नीट होनी चाहिए, कैटेगराइज्ड फोल्डर्स में होनी चाहिए, मेसी पाइल नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट? सो यहाँ पे लेट्स सपोज एवरीबडी यूजेस अ कंप्यूटर, उसमें यू हैव अ सेपरेट फोल्डर कि ये क्लास 4th है, ये 5th है, ये 6th है, ये 7th है. What if you mix up everything? That is going to be of no use. Likewise, the first thing, the real memory training is about how your brain organizes the input. आपका brain जो input है उसको organize कैसे कर रहा है? It is basically about, you know, piling up the information properly. अब दूसरी चीज इसमें क्या आती है? How it filters. That's going to be very important. आपने अपने ब्रेन को इंफॉर्मेशन तो दे दी, you gave the input, our brain is constantly bombarded with data. what डेटा और इंफॉर्मेशन आप कुछ भी कह लो, एवरी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, आप चाहे आज का सेशन अटेंड कर रहे हो, आप चाहे यू आर नॉट वर्किंग, यू आर सिटिंग आइडल, यू आर वॉचिंग समथिंग, यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट समथिंग, at every point of time our brain is constantly bombarded with data. तो अब ये कैसे इंश्योर करना है हमें कि जब हमें जिस इंफॉर्मेशन की जरूरत हो, हमें वही इंफॉर्मेशन ग्रैब करनी है. दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द सेकेंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट टू कंसिडर. The third and most important, which is, you know, I would say it is how it associates the new information जो already है. Let us suppose that in our brain, day 1, certain level of information is stored, and if I talk about day 7, day 12, या कोई भी day की बात करूं, so how it is going to associate with the things that I already know. I am putting the new information in my brain, लेकिन वो उसको उससे associate कैसे करेगा? वो सारे डेटा को, वो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन को, दैट इज ऑलरेडी इन माई ब्रेन. So therefore there are more connections, more new data, more existing knowledge to be connected. This all happens during the memory techniques enhancement process. Okay, now we'll do some let's put these concepts into a test. जो चीजें मैंने बताई हैं उसको एक टेस्ट में पुट करते हैं. Okay, we will do a live test करेंगे अभी. I will flash a page on the screen. I'll flash in front of all of you. I am going to flash a page on the screen for 10 seconds. This is not going to be any reading test or comprehension test. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा. आपको read भी नहीं करना है, आपको understand भी नहीं करना है. Don't try to read it. Don't try to understand it. The only instruction is just look. आपको क्या करना है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ उसको देखना है. Just look at it. Okay, your eyes can scan, you can do everything. Now I'm going to show you for 10 seconds. That's it. Now, first question, what colors do you remember? Who wants to answer? You can voluntarily answer. Who wants to answer? What colors do you remember? Yes, we have a participant, Lata. Yes, Lata, what colors do you remember? You need to unmute first.
Yeah. Red, yellow,
Okay.
pink, green.
Red, yellow, pink, and green. Let's write also red, yellow, pink, and green. Okay, all right. Next question for Mamta. Okay, Mamta, was there a diagram or picture?
There was a picture.
What was that?
It was a garden
It was a
with
garden
two kids. Yeah.
with
A picture of garden with a house, two kids, flowers all around, and a mug, a bucket.
So, all right. So, this is the description of the picture. All right. Did any words or phrases pop out to you from the text? Yes, this is question for Prajakta. Prajakta, did any words, phrases pop out?
There were two names in the paragraph which were bold.
What
Deepak
were-
and Deepak and Sumati or something starting from S.
So they were bold, they basically popped out.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have is, do you recall any structure like bullet points, table, bold titles? Were there something like that? Yes, Shalaka. Were there something like that? You need to unmute first.
Just the names were in the bold,
Okay.
and that were and from the from the picture I can see the kids were planting something.
Okay. So were there any bullet points, tables, bold titles, something like that?
No,
So no. Okay, they were not there.
just the names of the two kids.
आप mute हो गए हो. Unmute.
Just the names of the something. They were D from something. One name was from D. I saw.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. All right. So next question is for Deepak. Yes, Deepak, please unmute. Were there any numbers, headings, something unusual that you observed in just 10 seconds?
There was a heading, our garden, or my garden, I don't know. There was a heading in a bold title, our garden.
Our garden, right. Now let us go back to that picture. This was the picture. See. If you don't read, हमने इसको read नहीं करना है. The instruction was just to see it. When you see, first thing that our eyes, our brain grabs is colors. Green, yellow, red, purple, colors जितने भी हमारा brain उसको grasp कर सकता है. उसके बाद the two names, Deepak and Sumathi. Two names क्यों grab किए? We are not reading the names. I am just saying, let's say not only two names, I am saying two words. सिर्फ और सिर्फ ये दो words, I could say दो words थे red color में, right? और यहाँ पे 3 paragraphs थे, 3 paragraphs थे. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 3 paragraphs were there, this was there. So therefore, what I wanted you to know is, इस example से हमें क्या पता चलता है? Whenever we try to do this as our first step, जब हम read करने को अपना first step बनाते हैं, We are overpowering the brain, we are overstressing the mind, and we can never retain the information. हम कभी भी जो भी हमने टेक्स्ट, जो भी चीज हमने रीड की, whatever is in front of you, वो हो सकता है without a picture text हो सकता है it's only picture with some flow chart, with some algorithm, it can be anything. Whenever your first step is directly reading, you can never retain that information in your mind. The first step shall always be see. Whatever text, whatever information is in front of the reader, आपके सामने, किसी के भी सामने, whatever is the information, first step उसका क्या है? The first step is basically to see. So therefore, right from the beginning of this training program, as well as when you are out there to train the students about speed reading, तो कभी भी रीडिंग को आपने एनकरेज नहीं करना है. डोंट एनकरेज रीडिंग एट द फर्स्ट स्टेप. द राइट स्टेप इज टू सी द इंफॉर्मेशन फर्स्ट, राइट? सो दिस इज अ रियल एग्जांपल इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. अगर आप उसको रीड करना स्टार्ट करते, many of you would have missed कि पिक्चर में क्या था, किस तरह की चीजें थी. Why? Because what I am doing is I am directly starting, okay, Deepak and Sumathi like to grow plants, so this is the correct approach. So therefore, whenever you did this activity, जब आपने ये activity को किया, what actually happened in the brain, to understand this is going to be very important. जब भी आपने इसको activate किया, when you experienced this micro demonstration, this is called micro demonstration. All of you want to note, you can note down. जो हमने last example की है, that is basically called a micro demonstration. This is not reading. This is not extracting the information. This is micro demonstration. Micro demonstration जब हम constantly, even जब हम constantly read नहीं भी करते हैं, हमारा brain different powerful ways में work करता है, like what we did now. We were not reading, but yet these were the things that were activated and they were working for us. First is the peripheral vision. Whenever you are not reading, कौन सी चीज work करती है? Let me highlight here this one. Peripheral vision. What is peripheral vision? This basically allows our brain to take the whole layout of the page. Peripheral vision का role क्या होता है? To allow, to help my brain to take the entire layout, or I can also say the whole layout. The entire layout of the page, of text or whatsoever is in front of me. You saw, इसमें हम क्या चीज देखते हैं? We usually saw the structure. हमने structure को देखा, हमने colors को देखा, हमने image को देखा. These are all the things that we basically saw. Second one, the second thing that comes into play, because I asked you, that you just try to see it, that is called the theta wave states. Theta wave states, this is a state of light focus and open awareness. Whenever you are focusing on something, you are not deeply focusing. आप किसी चीज पे rigidly या religiously focus नहीं कर रहे हो. You are just focusing with a very light focus, but with an open awareness. That is called the theta wave state. Now this is basically receptive brain state. ये brain की हमारी एक receptive state होती है, जहां पे जो information है हम उसको effortlessly store कर सकते हैं, right? And the third important one is precognitive visual memory. Precognitive visual memory, this is the final thing that was engaged when we were looking at that picture. This is basically, what is the role of this? This is the raw data intake. आप इसको क्या बोल सकते हो? This is the raw data intake. Raw data को मेरे brain ने intake कर लिया, उसके बाद वो उसको process करेगा. The processing part, the extracting of what is important, what is not important, वो सारी चीजें कब होंगी? After this step. So basically the brain processed the visual input directly. Brain ने visual input को directly कहाँ पे किया? Process किया उसको before the language part kicked in. Okay, so this is the difference here. First of all, the visual input was given to our brain. किससे पहले? Before we started analyzing about the language. जैसे कि some of you told me there were the names of two kids. One was Deepak, one was this. This is what we call as the language. वहां पे language का role आया, then only we were able to understand, we were able to decide कि हाँ भाई यहाँ पे English language में क्या लिखा हुआ है. So basically this bypasses the typical slow linear reading process. जब हम ये process follow करते हैं to see first and read later, उसका benefit क्या होता है? ये bypass करता है जो हमारा typically slow and linear reading का process है और हमें allow करता है with the rapid holistic absorption. उसमें ये बहुत हमें help करता है. Right? Now a very important question, why we lose 80% of what we hear or read? हम जो भी सुनते हैं या हम रीड करते हैं, दिस इज साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन, उसका 80% इट्स गॉन समवेयर. कैन समबडी टेल मी व्हाट इज द रीजन ऑफ दैट अकॉर्डिंग टू यू? क्या रीजन हो सकता है उसका? ओके, यस ममता.
Lack of concentration,
Lack
lack of
of
interest.
lack of interest, lack of concentration. Somebody else? Even throughout the session, if you want to put the messages in the chat box, आप वो भी put कर सकते हो. Parallelly वो मेरे पास open रहता है usually in all the sessions. So in case you don't understand something, you want to put anything, you can put there also. Now this brings us to a very important question. According to me, this is the most important question. Now we lose 80% of what we hear or read. This is basically interest or recall. Okay, ये भी हो सकता है. Now this phenomena is illustrated by एक Ebbinghaus forgetting curve होता है. This is something technical. Ebbinghaus forgetting curve होता है जो हमें शो करता है कि information हमारी memory में जाने के बाद every time, every hourly basis, based on every day, how it is going to decay. अब ये जो प्रॉब्लम है, नाउ इंफॉर्मेशन मेरे ब्रेन से आफ्टर एवरी आवर, आफ्टर एवरी डे, दैट इज डिकेइंग, उसका डाउनग्रेड हो रहा है, वो डीग्रेड हो रही है. ब्रेन थिंक डिफरेंटली, यस इट कैन बी, ये भी रीजन हो सकता है. सो ये जो कर्व है, दिस इज शोइंग मी, तो इट मीन्स द कल्प्रेट इज माई ब्रेन. काइनेस्थेटिक लर्निंग स्टाइल, यस ये भी हो सकता है. पर्टिकुलरली अभी जो मैं फॉरगेटिंग कर्व की बात कर रही हूँ, आई थिंक you are some Breaknovacit company, all right. That is basically a Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. तो यहाँ पे this is not the fault of our brain. ये हमारे brain का fault नहीं है. This is a very natural process. Our brain is designed in a manner. अब सबसे important चीज आती है, हमारा जो brain है उसका जो डिजाइन है वो किस मैनर में हुआ है? What is the manner in which our brain is designed? Can anybody tell me? A very natural layman processing of brain within 24 hours if we are not recall. या श्वेता, अगर हम उसको रिकॉल नहीं करेंगे डेफिनेटली वो खत्म होती है चीज, ये भी एक रीजन होता है. बट आई एम आस्किंग यू, हमारे ब्रेन का एक नेचुरल प्रोसेस है जो हम उसको सिखाते नहीं है. राइट फ्रॉम द डे वी आर born, our brain knows this thing. What is that? This is basically filtering of information. I'll write for you here. फिल्टरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन को फिल्टर करने की ये जो प्रोसेसिंग है, वेरी बेसिक थिंग, ये जो है दिस इज आवर ब्रेन, आवर ऑर्गन इज प्री प्रोग्राम्ड. वो प्री प्रोग्राम्ड होता है इस चीज के लिए. सो देयरफॉर व्हेनेवर एन इंफॉर्मेशन गोज इन आवर माइंड, हमारे ब्रेन में जब भी कोई इंफॉर्मेशन जाती है, वी डोंट रीविजिट दैट, हम उसको रीविजिट नहीं करते. सो आवर ब्रेन टेक्स इट एज अनइम्पॉर्टेंट, कि वो इंफॉर्मेशन इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बिकॉज हम उसको इंपॉर्टेंट की तरह कंसिडर नहीं कर रहे हैं. दैट इज व्हाई व्हाट हैपेंस इज इट बेसिकली क्लियर्स द स्पेस फॉर द न्यू इंफॉर्मेशन. न्यू इंफॉर्मेशन के लिए वो क्या करता है, हमारा ब्रेन उस एग्जिस्टिंग इंफॉर्मेशन को क्लियर आउट कर देता है. So that is what these strategies are there to combat this forgetting curve. ये जो forgetting curve होता है, इसको combat करके, जितना हम उसको combat करेंगे उतना ज्यादा हमारी memory enhance होगी, उतनी ज्यादा हमारी understanding better होगी और उतनी ज्यादा हमारी note taking better होगी. This is the interlinking between everything. Now first of all, central idea. This is again going to be very important chart. First is the central idea. किसी को कोई चीज if you want me to repeat, you can let me know. Okay. So central idea basically किससे relate करता है? Branches से. Branches को हम एक memory की language में what do we say to branches? We call it as mind mapping. Now mind mapping क्या होता है? This is a technique जिसमें हमारे brain की जो natural tendency है to think, हमारा ब्रेन कैसे सोचता है? एसोसिएशंस में. You must know this thing also, how our brain thinks. Our brain thinks in terms of association, right? So instead of the linear notes क्या होते हैं? अगर let's suppose मैं किसी topic के notes ले रही हूँ and I am just continuously writing, these are called the linear notes. Instead of linear notes, if I create a visual hierarchy, अगर मैं visual hierarchy create करूंगी, one way is to take the linear notes. Linear notes is outdated, age old, traditional. No need to do that. इसको आपको किससे रिप्लेस करना है और स्टूडेंट्स को किस चीज से रिप्लेस करवाना है, which we call as the visual hierarchy. So I'll write in short form, which we call as visual hierarchy. हम इसको क्या कहते हैं? Visual hierarchy. Hierarchy, I hope you all understand. That is one after the other, one after the other, right? So therefore what happens when we replace these two? तो हम क्या करते हैं? अपने आइडियाज को कैसे कनेक्ट करते हैं? As the branches are connected to the tree. मेन आइडिया के साथ जो मेरे साथ में इंटरलिंकिंग इंफॉर्मेशन है, आप इसको रिलेट करो उससे. आपको ये भी चीज जो है, आई थिंक यू नीड नॉट टू क्रैम एनीबडी. नाउ व्हाट आई हैव टोल्ड यू, वी रिप्लेस द लीनियर नोट्स विद द विजुअल हायरार्की. अब विजुअल हायरार्की को किससे रिलेट करो? ऑलवेज व्हेनेवर दिस कम्स इन योर माइंड, टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ अ ट्री. ट्री की एग्जांपल कैसे लेनी है? द बेस ऑफ द ट्री, स्टेम ऑफ द ट्री, जो मेन ट्री का पार्ट है वो क्या है? मेरा मेन आइडिया, माय मेन फोकस. एंड द रिमेनिंग ब्रांचेस जो है, दे आर बेसिकली व्हाट आई एम लिंकिंग टू दैट. मैं उसको कनेक्ट कर रही हूँ आइडियाज को, लाइक ब्रांचेस फ्रॉम अ ट्री. And this would be a very fantastic brainstorming, समराइजिंग और कॉम्प्लेक्स टॉपिक्स को लिंक करना. ये तीनों इसके प्रैक्टिकल इंप्लीकेशंस हैं इसकी, ब्रांचेस एंड माइंड मैपिंग मेथड की. हम इनको कहाँ यूज कर सकते हैं? आई एम अगेन रिपीटिंग, इफ यू वांट टू ब्रेनस्टॉर्म समथिंग, आई गिव यू सम टॉपिक. मैं आपको एक ऐसा टॉपिक दे दूं या मैं आपको एक ऐसी चीज दे दूं जो आपको नहीं पता, आपको उस पर ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करना है. यू नीड टू फाइंड आउट इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन. There this technique is going to help you a lot, which we call as mind mapping, जो relate करती है central idea से. दूसरा, if you want to summarize something, I give you a 10 pages long text and you need to summarize. Usually how do you summarize? Can somebody tell me? आपके पास 10 pages का, there is, you know, I give you a research paper, आपको उसको summarize करना है. How will you do? Anybody, how will you do? आपको जो कंफर्टेबल मोड है आप उसमें आंसर कर सकते हो, इवन इन राइटिंग और स्पीकिंग. आई गिव यू अ 10 पेजेस ऑफ रिसर्च पेपर. एक मैं आपको रिसर्च पेपर दे रही हूँ. ओके श्वेता, इंटेलिजेंट माइंड मैपिंग, वो तो अभी देखा है हमने. सो हाउ विल यू डू दैट? ओके, सो लता, वर यू अवेयर अबाउट माइंड मैपिंग अर्लियर ऑल्सो? ओके, सो कैन यू जस्ट हेल्प एवरीबडी नो ऑल्सो?
Yes, mind mapping is something that the information is related to one another in the form of mapping. For example, if we take something from science or English vocabulary, if you want to know the synonyms for the words that are related to classroom, in a classroom, so
Right.
you can have the main part is the classroom. From there you have to make the branches mapping to the things that are
Directly or indirectly related to
that appear in the classroom.
Okay, so if you want me to, you know, create a rough layout, I'll do that. Let me add a page. आज ये additional चीज let us discuss. Mind mapping का basic rough layout I'll give you. सबसे पहले I am writing mind mapping in between. MP means sorry. MM is mind mapping, right? Now one of my branch, let's suppose this is one of my branch, मैंने इसको petal की form में बना दिया. This is going to be my benefits. For any general topic I am just taking. Okay, this is going to be my benefits. इधर benefits जा रहे हैं. Let's suppose यहाँ पे I am planning also something. Benefits, planning. This is the general structure of mind mapping जो usually हर जगह पे applicable हो जाता है. We can always increase or decrease according to the need of the situation, right? उसके बाद एक चीज यहाँ पे आती है which we call as let's suppose productivity. These are the benefits. This is the planning. This is the productivity. Productivity and also this तरफ लगा लेते हैं हम creativity. Right? Now benefits. Benefits क्या होते हैं? जब भी आप इसको इस वे में करोगे, what comes under benefits? Benefits में जो भी चीज आए, अब इसका benefit क्या है mind mapping का? आपको क्या लगता है? First of all, if I want to get the main idea, core idea, the overview of something, I'll be able to do. So किसी भी चीज का overview लेना मेरे लिए easy हो जाएगा. दूसरा इसमें क्या है? This is going to be a very simple way of learning. एक learning का ये simple way हो जाएगा. Easy recall, right answer. Let us write that also. Easy recall is also going to be one of the benefits, right? Now, yeah, easy recall done. अब यहाँ पर प्रोडक्टिविटी, हाउ माई प्रोडक्टिविटी विल गेट अफेक्ट फ्रॉम दिस. इससे मेरी प्रोडक्टिविटी कैसे अफेक्ट होगी? श्वेता इज सेइंग in one page we can recall 20 pages stuff. Yes, we can always do it in the compact form. ये भी हो सकता है. प्रोडक्टिविटी में क्या होगा? My efficiency is going to increase. I think श्वेता हम इसको better ये बोल सकते हैं, my efficiency is going to increase in this, right? And यहाँ पे क्रिएटिविटी में कौन कौन से फैक्टर्स हो सकते हैं? whenever I am putting this thing, first of all ideas, the very very basic layout of this ideas या फिर आप इसको क्या कह सकते हो? You can also say it as thoughts. Ideas, thoughts, innovation, anything that comes under creativity. Okay, we write main points instead of whole paragraph. Very true. Shweta is saying arrangement. Yes, arrangement can be, you know, the sort of creating something or like that, right? अब planning में इसका क्या benefit हो सकता है? सबसे पहले whenever you apply mind mapping, whenever you are planning something, your goal is clear, your goal is very clear, your strategies are very clear. आपकी जो strategies हैं they are also going to be very clear. सबसे important role जो mind mapping का practically professionals में देखा गया है, that is projects undertaking. Projects में that is going to be very effective. Learn in less amount of time. Definitely efficiency में I think ये कहीं ना कहीं cover हो जाएगा. So productivity में efficiency means I am using less time, I am giving more output, I am consuming less and I am giving more, my brain is learning more. So this comes under this only. All right. So ये क्या है? एक rough, you know, I have given you the benefit. एक mind mapping का इसमें benefit क्या रहता है? Okay. Now we were discussing, first हमने branches देखा. Next हमारे पास आता है Q column. Q column को हम structured summary भी कहते हैं. This is going to be an exclusive session also. Cornell method of learning. ये वाला हम discuss भी करेंगे in detail. Time management. Yeah, Shweta, time management can also be there. Very right. So now अब जो Q method होता है, this is called the structured summary. आप अभी के लिए just keep this much in your mind. What is Q method? This is called the structured summary. अब ये जो Cornell method है, that is a very wonderful method for a reason. अब इसमें हम I give you little bit idea. Cornell method में हम क्या करते हैं? We basically divide. हम अपने notes को हम divide करते हैं 3 sections. I am going to now give you an idea about the Cornell method. Cornell method of note taking में I will divide my notes into 3 sections. First step है ये इसका. अब मैंने नोट्स को 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर लिया. माय मेन कॉलम, जो मेन नोट्स होते हैं, अ क्यू कॉलम इज फॉर द कीवर्ड्स एंड क्वेश्चंस. यहां पे आएंगे मेरे सारे के सारे कीवर्ड्स, यहां पे आएंगे मेरे ऑल ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस, right? And here it is going to come the summary. This is the Cornell method. इसमें what we do is हम क्या करते हैं, अपने notes को we divide them into the 3 columns. हम उनको 3 columns में divide करते हैं. What are they? First keywords, second questions, third one is the summary. Okay. अब ये क्या होता है, this basically forces the learner, if I am the learner, you are the learner, anybody, this forces the learner to actively process and condense the information की processing as well as condensation of information, that is basically forced to the learner. ये एक creative way होता है. This is going to be very very creative way, और इसको हम detail में we will study, and it is incredibly effective 2 चीजों में. First of all, whenever you want to recall something, उसमें भी Cornell method is going to be very effective. And whenever you want to review something, when it comes to reviewing something or when it comes to recalling something, Cornell method is going to be very important. We'll study this in detail also. Okay. So these were the basically the main overview things. और जो हमारा third segment है हमारे course का, that is going to be the memory techniques, and we are going to learn 50 memory techniques with their practical implications, that where I can apply some particular memory technique. हो सकता है उसमें से कुछ techniques 3, 4, 5 या basic वाली आप familiar हो, that is going to be your practice also. And for the all new techniques, we will be studying them in chunks. हम उसको chunks में discuss करेंगे, right? So this is what going to be the course all about. Now let us do some interesting activity before winding up the session for today. एक words challenge करते हैं. This is for all the participants, and then we will come to an end. Okay. So words challenge क्या है? I will speak, या I'll show you 10 words. Don't write. आपने उन words को देखना है exact sequence में. You just need to speak those words. Okay. These are the words. All right. Anybody who can tell the words in exact sequence? Anybody? Okay, so voluntarily let's start. Okay, Prajakta, what were the words?
Apple, train, pencil.
Okay.
I think I've missed something after pencil. Tiger, river.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, good try. Okay, Deepak, what were the words? Unmute first. Yeah.
Apple, train, pizza, pencil, river.
Okay. All right, good try. Yes, Lata, what were the words? Unmute first. Yeah. Unmute.
Apple, train, pencil, clock,
Okay.
tiger,
Okay.
pizza.
Okay. Good try. Good try. All right, somebody else who wants to try? We also have Akshay. Akshay, please unmute. We have a participant, Akshay. If you can unmute and participate.
Yes, ma'am. Only apple and train.
Only apple and train. Why? Okay. So आज बहुत ही सिंपल सी एक टेक्निक आपको मैं बताती हूँ. उसके बाद अगर 3 महीने के एंड में भी आई विल आस्क यू दिस क्वेश्चन, यू ऑल विल नो द आंसर. आई कैन अश्योर यू. कैसे? आई जस्ट टेल यू. ये थे वर्ड्स: एप्पल, ट्रेन, पेंसिल, क्लॉक, टाइगर, रिवर, बलून, फैन, पिज्जा. अब ये वर्ड्स को आई टेल यू विद अ वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम्पल. आई नो दैट्स गोइंग टू बी बेसिक बट दैट्स गोइंग टू बी फन. सो एवरी डे अगर हम कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा इंटरेस्टिंग करेंगे, दैट विल बी maintaining the zeal of learning. Okay. So now see. A boy eating an apple boarded a train. एक लड़का एप्पल खा रहा था, boarded a train, picked up a pencil and started drawing a clock. उसने पेंसिल को पिक किया और क्या ड्रॉ करना स्टार्ट कर दिया? क्लॉक. सडनली एक टाइगर ने जंप किया रिवर से बाहर. एप्पल, ट्रेन, pencil, clock, tiger, river. Maximum words are covered in this. Let's go ahead. जैसे ही टाइगर एंटर किया ट्रेन में, उसके साथ देयर वाज टाइड अ बलून वाज टाइड टू द टाइगर, एंड ट्रेन में देयर वाज अ ह्यूज फैन. लेट्स सपोज यहाँ पे देयर इज अ फैन, राइट? सो दैट ब्लू द पिज्जा स्लाइस अवे. What were the words? Whenever I'll bring this in my mind, boy eating an apple, boarded a train, apple train, pencil उठाई, clock draw किया, pencil clock. सडनली टाइगर ने रिवर से जंप किया, टाइगर रिवर, उसके साथ बलून बंधा हुआ था, बलून, ट्रेन में फैन चल रहा था, पिज्जा स्लाइस, ब्लू अवे, फैन एंड पिज्जा. ओके, सो दिस इज बेसिकली कॉल्ड द स्टोरी लिंकिंग. एक तरह से हमने इसमें विजुअलाइजेशन एंड स्टोरी को मिक्स कर दिया. तो दस आप कोई भी लॉन्ग सीक्वेंस ऑफ वर्ड्स हो, लॉन्ग सीक्वेंस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन हो, एनीथिंग यू कैन लर्न ऑल्सो एंड यू कैन टीच द किड्स ऑल्सो टू लर्न ऑल्सो. अब इसका डिफिकल्टी लेवल इट विल इंक्रीज. अगर कोई लेट्स सपोज ग्रेड 4, 5, 6 का समहाउ स्टूडेंट है, he or she is going to learn up to 8 words, 10 words. कोई और ज्यादा होगा तो there are 20, 25 words also. So what happens is in those fractions of seconds, whenever our eyes are scrolling through the words, अभी तो words कम थे, so time duration I gave you around 9-10 seconds. If I give you 20-30 seconds for 20 words, जैसे जैसे we are reading the words, mental visuals are created parallelly, right? So this is the method that is used by maximum learners. जब भी आपको कोई वर्ड, कोई भी लॉन्ग डेटा या समथिंग, कुछ भी आपको अपने माइंड में, यू जस्ट नीड टू रिटेन दैट. ओके, so these were the 3 of the segments that we will be covering in our course also. हम अपने कोर्स में ये सारे segments को we will be covering, and moreover the journey has just started. So this was just the overview session. Coming session में there will be so much theory. I am telling you in advance. Why? Because this is all related to memory. So theory and practical will go hand in hand. Okay, आपका जो study manual भी होगा, that will be shared with you tomorrow. That will also have a very very detailed explanations, very detailed theory कि अगर आपको ऐसा ही overview अपने different grades के, different age group के kids को, बच्चों को सिखाना है, या फिर 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th और higher candidates को, if you are out there giving the same overview, how to teach them, what examples to teach them, how to make them understand the terminologies. Because in the beginning of our segment number 1 जो है, that is the quantum speed reading, उसमें theta wave activation है, there are so many cognitive technicalities are there we need to enter into science, because that's really important. Okay, so we'll do that in our coming session also, and tomorrow you all will be getting your first study manual for this overview session also. And I hope that the session was productive for you and you learned something out of that. And this is the complete overview of what course we will be going ahead. Yeah, thanks Mumta. जो हम कोर्स करेंगे, these are going to be the 3 segments, and my deliverables would be Hindi plus English. I'll be using 70-30 ratio, Hindi plus English. जहां पर आपको जितनी बार कोई concept नहीं समझ आया, we'll practice that again and again. So this is going to be my approach. Yeah, most welcome Shweta, and thank you for your valuable time also. And in case shall we get the recordings of each session? Sorry, that's not possible. दीपक, सारे सेशंस का रिकॉर्डिंग तो नहीं मिल पाएगा. इन केस 1-2 मिस होते हैं या कुछ होता है तो यू कैन गेट. और अगर इन केस, यस, यू रिमाइंडेड मी ऑफ समथिंग इम्पोर्टेंट. If somebody is going for some leave, due to some reason you are not able to attend the sessions, please inform the coordinators or drop a message. Okay, so आपके वो जो topics हैं, they will make a note of that for all of you. An individual coordinator is assigned. Okay, so he will make a note of जो दिन आपके topics skip हुए हैं, you will be provided with the extra sessions. Anything else from your side? You want to discuss something? You want to ask something about the course or so? Anybody? Prajakta, you want to ask something? Yeah.
Ma'am, you had mentioned about the forgetting curve, Ebbinghaus, right?
Yeah.
So we have that in detail in the study manual, or how important is it to know more about it?
I'll send that separately. Probably in the overview session that's not there, क्योंकि overview में क्या है, हम क्या चीजें मतलब करेंगे कोर्स में, और आपको different age group के बच्चों को कैसे सिखाना है. So what I'll do is tomorrow I'll make that separately, वो जो forgetting curve है, and I'll send everybody of you separately, भेज दूंगी मैं आपको. Okay. So some session was very good, informative and engaging. Okay, that's good to hear. Learning should be fun, irrespective jitna marzi difficulty level ho, it should be fun according to me. So, all right. All right. So very good evening to all. See you now on Thursday at same time. And tomorrow probably 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock around, you will be sent with the study manuals. Okay. All right. So thank you everybody and good evening.